Okay, so today we will explore package.json. Okay, followed by we will be looking into the node models. Okay, the HTTP model which node inbuilt provides. So, like earlier we saw that using Express framework we were able to handle the GET request. So similarly, we will today try to explore the inbuilt HTTP model. Okay, and apart from that, we will explore uh, how we can set the environments in Node. Okay, so let's start the session today. So I'm sharing the screen. Let me know when you are able to see.
This stage.
Okay. Okay. So this was our last code. So let's explore package.json. Okay. So basically, what package.json can do. Okay. So basically, as you know that main is our entry point. Apart from that, if you can observe here, we are having a script object, right? So we can mention n number of scripts. So for testing, there will be so this is a testing script. Apart from that, if we are using webhooks, then we can mention webhooks scripts here. Apart from that, if we want if you want to start the program with some different file, you can always mention here. Okay. How to do that? So let me give you a good example of my current project. Okay. So this is Cloud Ranger project. Okay. And this is package.json of Cloud Ranger. So basically, we will go through all the different components. Okay. So name, description, keywords is there. Okay. So dependency. So if you remember last time, the packages that we installed that automatically appends under the dependency object. Okay, so dependency object tells us that what all dependencies are there with their version. Okay, all these dependencies can be downloaded from the Node package manager or YAM. Okay. And repository. So if you remember, while doing npm init, we got a option to enter Git URL. So that Git URL goes inside this repository object. Now this dev dependency. So basically, dependencies and dev dependencies are different. Okay. So what Node.js considers default environment as development environment. Okay. So basically, providing dev dependencies separately, like the purpose of it is so that whatever you do, so basically what we do in development, we make use of some external third-party tools, packages to achieve our task, right? It might happen that that package is not supported or like it is not optimized. So we might change it in future. So what we do? So usually we save the package in our dev environment. Okay, so dev dependencies are responsible for maintaining packages for dev environment, and main dependencies is for our production. So basically, like we can use 10 more packages which we want to do trial and error. So, but if you do same thing in prod, if you want to install packages, normally we do npm install, right? To install all the packages. So in prod, it will always prefer this dependency object. So similar. So like this, we can differentiate between the dependencies and we can use dependencies that we want. So how do we store? How do we use these dev dependencies? So let's come back to our thing. Okay, so we have. So yesterday we installed Express, right? Yes. So today let us try to install one more package. Okay, but in context of dev environment. So After Express, we will be needing. Let us check. Okay, for example, this UUID. Okay. Okay, so to install the dependency in the environment, you need to pass a flag called -save. Okay, so this will create new object called dev dependencies and save that package specifically for dev. So if you can see, like
we can use this UUID for development, but when we will push our code to production, that will not consider this UUID.
Correct. So once you are happy with the third-party library you are using with, and like you have done all the analysis, feasibility, and all you have analyzed. So once you are happy with that, you can do a simple npm install, okay, without this. Or like instead of npm install, you can simply copy this line over here in dependencies object. So whenever the new build will be created on production, it will consider this object. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So next thing, let's try to explore scripts. Okay. So yeah, so next one is main. Here it is index. We have app.js. They are using all. They are so Cloud Ranger is supporting all the versions greater than 0.4.3. Okay. Okay. So let's explore scripts. Okay. So here, if you can see, they have mentioned local, pre-publish, test, and git environment. Okay. So what does it mean? So if you want to, so basically inside script, so consider script object as your, okay. So in script object denotes the key as the invoking keyword. So whatever you type in script, so let's say if I do npm or npm run, so followed by run, you can mention local, pre-publish, test. So whatever key you will mention, corresponding to that, whatever arguments or script we have, we have there, that will get executed. So in case here, if we pass local, it will execute the script. Okay. So what is the script? This script is simply appending command line arguments. Correct? Argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. The next script is running, and if we do npm pre-publish, that will run npm prune. Okay. Similarly, test. So npm test will run this particular script. Okay, so let's try doing that. Okay. So what we'll do?
So right now, can I?
Yeah.
So right now, as we need to enter that node file name to execute this program, file. So instead of that, we can create our own script. Suppose script tag, then start, and then in that start, we can mention the command which will execute that particular code.
Correct. So currently, how we are running our app, we are manually calling the app.js file, yes, right? Yes. That is our main entry point.
Yes.
Okay. So
instead of that, we add.
So what we'll do
in node.
Correct.
Space of app.js, and
for now this is fine, right?
Yeah, for now it's fine. So now we just have to execute npm run and dev, and that will execute. That will start the that project.
Correct, right?
Yes.
It is listening to our port 3000. Okay. I hope everyone understood, right?
Yes.
Very, very good. Online. Yeah, here. Anand, right?
Yes.
Yes, Pranav, clear.
Okay. Sorry for this. Yeah. Okay. So now, okay. We'll explore the command line. Okay, command line argument. So as you can see, we can pass command line arguments as well. Okay. So first, let us check out the easy one. So what we do, how do we pass command line argument? Simply called invoke node followed by file name and followed by command line arguments. It can be like this, or it can be name equal to Anand. Okay.
Yes.
What else we can pass? Secret key.
Port number.
Port number also we can pass. Port equal to 3000. Okay.
Yes.
Let's rename it to dev. And no, dev is fine. Let's change this to something sensible. Or let's put it like this only. Okay. So we can pass command arguments from command line. Now we need to catch them in our app, right?
Yes.
So what can be done? We can. Okay, so Node.js has an inbuilt variable called process. Okay, that is a global Node.js variable. Process. So what Node.js does? Node.js populates the process variable. Okay, so basically, Node.js process variable has different properties. Okay, and methods as well. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's explore what process variable has. Okay. Let's hold that now. Might be I will be able to tell you how to log, nested objects in a beautiful way as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what does process of variable holds? N number of things. Okay. So current version of node. Okay. Version of V8. Then what else? Platform release. Okay. So let me know when you are able to find out some familiar keywords. Binding is there. Event count. Correct. Get UID. Okay, so what get UID will do? It will simply get the process ID, PID of our current execution of the app, like our instance of app. Okay, so we have, so you must be, so like we have in Java, argv and argc. Similarly, we have argv in Node as well. Okay, so what argv array represents? Argv array represents all the command line arguments. So if you can see what was, so unlike Java, Node considers uh, every single entry on the command line as a command line argument itself. So if you can observe, first first entry is Node itself. What we did, Node app.js, right? Second entry is app.js, that is our file name. Then third entry is our first command line parameter and followed by the next one. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to access this argv from process. Okay, so let's try to do that. The one good thing is this process variable is accessible throughout entirely throughout our Node app. So just explore this all this data, and like you can make use of this in your app. Okay, so let's try to accept the command line arguments now.
So using process dot args dot using that process
Argv,
args, we
yeah,
can access
correct,
the
correct.
argument
Correct. So what is process.argv? That is the array.
array.
So how we can access? Either we can run a loop on that. Correct?
Yep.
Process dot
Dot instead of dot
for each, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For each accepts
amount of functions.
index and value. Right?
Yes.
Currently we don't need index. Value can do our thing. Okay. And so we'll simply try to log this, okay?
All parameters.
And value. Okay. So let us try. Wait, I forgot to remove this one, right? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, correct. So now it is printing all the command line arguments. So, but now we know that first two arguments are always going to be node followed by the file name, right? So like better approach will be using JavaScript functions, right? Which one? Slice, I guess, correct?
Right.
Or split also we can use, right?
Create we can also skip first one directly access.
I mean, there are n number of
Yeah.
this. So if I do like this split, how we are going to split?
0.
Oh no. We can split string, right? Splice 2. And after splicing first two elements, if I want to access. Okay, let's first check this. Okay, one more difference you might have noticed that I need to rerun server all every time.
Yeah. So for that,
Didn't save. Correct.
yeah.
So splice to splice work, right? It simply return a splice direct. So I guess this is a better approach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like this, you can make use of the command line arguments. So now let us do the changes in our code as well. So now we know that how we can access the array. So let us define port.
Dot 0.
Okay, let me save this in a new array. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, now we'll create new variables for port equal to
0.
yeah, correct. Hours of 1, right?
Actually, port will be on 1 and environment will be on 0.
Okay, so for port, what else we need to do? Dot split, right?
Equal to. And it's one index.
Right. Index value 1. Okay. So since we saw this process object, right? So what else we can do with process objects? If we have env as well in process object. So what we can do, we can maintain this env inside our process object itself, so that it will be our node app will know that current environment is which environment. So simply what I will do to set my developer environment, I will store that dev value in this env object of process global variable. Okay. So simply what I will do env dot
Append.
no need to append. So here we have environment as well. Process.env equal to dev, like that. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, so for now we'll be using this port. Okay, so how we will use? We'll be adding port, but what if someone forgets to do command line? Then we will use this. Correct?
Yes.
Similarly, environment. Currently, that is not required. We will come to that later. Okay. So now this is now I guess you understood how we can use command line arguments, right? So according to you, like how we can view output to command line back. So basically, I guess you know that already, but I'm framing the sentence differently. So basically, now we accepted the arguments to command line. Now we need to send back data to command line. So how we can do that? We are already doing that, right? Using console log. So console log provides, this console module is very, helpful module. So basically, if you do console log, it will simply log the output. Okay. And if you have observed in process variable itself, see, it is not, but the console log is not able to display each and every thing. The nested objects and arrays are not displayed. Instead of that, it is displaying only function and object, right?
Yeah.
So how we can do that? So do you know? Have you ever used JSON parsing in JavaScript? JSON stringify. Correct, right? So you know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay then.
So we just need to add this one.
JSON.stringify and pass the array.
Okay.
And if we want to beautify it, then we can always pass the extra optional parameters, right?
Yes.
So do you want me to cover that or we can skip?
No, we can skip.
We
Yes.
can skip.
Okay, 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 fine. Okay, so next thing is we'll just explore the HTTP model. Okay. So let us comment this out, everything. Or okay, it's also fine. So let app equal to via HTTP. Okay, this is the inbuilt model. For this model, we don't need to do a install. Let me open a new window with that model. Oh, sorry. See. Okay. Let us open doc as well.
HTTP client.
Yeah, correct. So here we can see like what all things we can do with HTTP. Okay, so if you can see, so what all things we were able to do with Express, we can do it with HTTP. Okay, so what things we did, we were listening to server, right?
Yes.
So instead of listen, here we have create correction. Okay. Then if you want to establish a socket connection, again we have to install separate dependency for Express, but here it is inbuilt. Right? If you want to set headers, so just search for correct. You can do set headers, right?
So Express make these things easier, right?
Correct,
For
correct,
us,
correct.
instead of just going through all the
Correct.
complexity.
So basically, it is like consider
Wrap up
Express tool as your
wrap up
handy.
over-
Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah. So I personally believe like if you have knowledge of inbuilt modules of Node, then I mean I prefer to use the inbuilt modules only because inbuilt modules are most optimized. I mean they are written in such a way that they are most optimized, and we don't need to worry about the response time and their throughput and all. And the second issue I consider is like the space. If I saw like when we install a module, it installs numerous files and it increases our app space. So
The world is
Yeah.
struggling because of no model.
you are struggling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So because so that is the second thing which I consider as an issue with using extra modules. Okay, so it is so, but since in day-to-day development life, we consider opting for the optimized solution that someone has created instead of doing trial and error. Yeah, yeah, correct. From scratch. That takes a lot of time. But if you want to optimize if you want to do memory optimization, like your server, your you have memory constraint, client customer is not ready to go for big memory servers. So then you can remove modules, the bigger modules, and do some custom library writing.
But this will increase the number of lines in our code, right?
So yeah, so that is why we do modular code, right?
Yeah.
In separate files, separate folder.
No, like now if I'm using Express, the Express has already, like that a particular module has already created all the functions in optimized way.
Yeah, right.
So that we can directly use that functions instead of writing all the code from scratch. So
Correct,
if
correct.
we are suppose adding everything from scratch, writing by ourselves, so that will add extra line of code and extra efforts.
Yeah.
We
So
need
it
to
will like,
understand the each and
yeah.
everything by
So
ourselves.
correct. The thing is like Express don't come with only server listening tools, right? It comes with vast variety of features, right? So basically, if our app only needs 2 or 3 things, so it is always good to write extra
Yeah.
code.
Yeah.
Okay. Spending 2-3 days extra for that is always worth, right?
Yeah.
Instead of keeping a huge 200 MBs of data in those models. So if you can see Express itself will be huge. So this Express, along with that Express needs some dependency, libraries. So all those dependency libraries are also there with Express. Okay.
Yes.
So like it is not like Express will everything will be there inside Express. So this libraries again it needs dependency with other libraries. So all those other dependencies are also pulled into your node models, and that is why it became very huge size. Okay. Yeah. So I guess I have shared this link with you already, right?
Yes.
Let me share again from here. So what you can do, if you are getting free time, just go through this,
Models.
go through this link. This will give you a brief understanding of Node. Okay.
Yeah. Node.js group.
Oh, here, right?
Node group.
Yeah, correct. We'll put on Node group. Okay, so we did this step first, right? So HTTP without methods. So if I search for methods here, see, okay. If I click over here, it will show all the methods supported by HTTP. Okay. So they are simply just listed down here. Okay, so this you can simply check out later. Okay.
Yes.
So our main aim. Yeah. So next thing is host name. Host name is our current app only. So let's make use of this code. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So if you will find similarities. Okay. So instead of Express, now we are using HTTP. Okay. Instead of listen, we are using create server. Okay. So here the thing is listen under the hood, listen handles both the thing, creating server and listening to code. Here we have to do that in 2 steps. First, we will create a server using http.create server, and then we will listen to that. So it is considered as a good practice to separate your server and your listening port. Okay. So usually what we do is we use http.create server to create our server. Okay. And we use express.listen to listen to that particular port. Okay. So why we do that? So I want you guys to just check out that if we have HTTP, inbuilt module, so then why it is a good practice to use HTTP module along with Express server. Okay. Why we should separate create server and listening port. Okay, so let's try to run this. I guess again this is going to be the same. Terminal. Yeah. Okay, so what we do? We'll simply do npm run dev. Okay, so now our server is listening to port number 3000, right? And this is working. Okay, so this was just to demo. We will revert back to our thing. Okay, so let's talk about the file architecture. Okay? So today what we'll do, we will just talk about file architecture. What thing goes where, okay?
Yes.
And then we'll stop for today. Okay, so okay, so okay, so consider this as an endpoint. Okay, so this is internet, or what we can say, app, front-end app. Okay, what front-end app will do? Front-end app will do a call over HTTP, right? So it will do a call over HTTP, and this is our endpoint. What is our endpoint? Our endpoint is nothing but our host URL, right? Let me write here FP. Okay. Yeah. So so mainly to modularize our code, what we follow is these three practices. Okay. Okay, so consider this as endpoint. Okay. So what will happen in endpoint? First thing Apple will be like request will we will be receiving requests, multiple requests, right? And we need to segregate those requests based on the method and type. Okay, so that we usually do in route. Okay. So basically, route is responsible to segregate the request and invoke the methods corresponding to them. Okay. So let's say we are having a post request, right? We are having a post request which is responsible for storing data into database. Okay, store into database. Let's say we have multiple posts. One post for user, correct? One post for user post. Then let's say we have along with user, we have movie, right? So user will search for movie. So and user will give ratings to movie, correct? So movie ratings. Movie rating post. So what we usually do, if you have ever observed, when you call a user API, in API link itself, you will find that in API path, like you will find that particular keyword, like host/user/user ID. Correct?
Yes.
So like that, in that manner, we segregate the request in our route.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, for movie, what we can do, host/user/movie/rating.
Right.
Correct. So basically, I'm giving you a high overview, like how we can segregate that. So all those things are done in the route. Okay. So once route once request is detected that current incoming request is a post request, which needs to store the user data into our DB. Okay. The second important thing is to do validations. Okay. So yeah, should I include this? Yeah. So second main thing is doing validations. Okay, so what we do basically in controller module. So first module is route, in that we will be segregating all the request. Second module will be controller. So here, what we usually do is we do validation. Yeah. Validations. And second thing is we form response object over here only. Okay. So what we did until now, so one request came from front end. Okay. We identified which request is that and what that request needs to do. Okay. Then we forwarded that request to controller. So what controller did did the validation of input data. Okay. Okay. After that, once data is verified, we need to have some business logic, right? We need to do some operation over that data. So the business logic goes inside service. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So basically, we put business logic inside service module. Okay. So what is business logic? So it might be interacting with DB. Okay. It might be calling some third-party API microservices. Correct. After calling microservices, we are again having data from DB and microservices, right? Then filtering out that data based on our logic. So all these things will go inside service. Okay, then we have one more module, that we call as model. Okay, why model? Because we simply define our DB models in that model. Okay, and basically for modularity, we want to keep it separate. Okay, so here what all things will go here? Your database schema. Okay. Here we will define that how our database will look like. Okay.
Some common functions.
Yeah, correct. So DB functions, DB methods, all these things will go inside models. Okay. So and finally we have our database. Yeah. Oh, I thought it is cylindrical. Okay. So this is our database. Okay. So, but this is this is not enough, right? So basically, what we do, as you mentioned, we will be needing some common functions, right? So common functions go to util. Okay. So out of the box, we will draw two more boxes. Okay. So this box we can name it as config. Okay. Inside config, what all things we can put? So there should be a common file which will be holding common functions which we can use over the app. So that usually goes inside util. Huh?
Assets also there.
Correct. So if you want to do a server-side rendering, you have some assets, and there will be assets, and so basically there will be some enumerated values, right? List of enumerated values. So let's say your request fails. So then what error you need to send? If your request passes, what you need to send? Okay, you have some business logic, you have a customer base. So if customer clicks on particular thing or something changes in DB, then what you need to send? So all the constant variables goes inside config only. So of course, this will be a separate file, this will be a separate file, and this will be a separate file.
Yes.
Okay. Along with config, we usually maintain .env file that is outside itself. Okay. So you might have used .env file in Angular as well, right?
Environment.
Correct. To maintain the environment variables. So what we do usually for security purpose, for security purpose, we usually maintain env file with all this port, secret key, password, username, all those values, host URL. Correct. Usually we create objects for that. So if you have ever gone through the env file, you might have observed objects like this, like dev followed by all these properties.
Yes.
Same object copy paste for production, same for stage. Okay. And so basically that we use for switching between the environments. Okay. So how we can do that? That we will look into in next session. Okay. So so basically now how it will work. So basically we will maintain a .env file locally. This won't get populated to Git. Okay, because of security. So basically inside env we will be keeping our all environment variables and passwords and username. Okay. Then our process file, you remember process, right?
Yes.
Correct. So, but still we will be passing command line argument to our program. So if we pass environment as dev, so what will be we will be doing? We will be fetching the required object from env using process object. Okay, so that we will see in next session how we do that. Okay, apart from that, again this much is not enough, right? So apart from that, something you must be getting, right? When you do a login, you get a security token, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So that authentication layer comes in between. So there are two ways to do that. Either do it in controller or have a separate authentication layer. Okay. Every request comes in should go through authentication, then only it will go ahead. So what is the difference between authentication and validation?
Authentication first check whether the user is allowed to access or not. And in validation, we verify whether the user has access or not for that particular resource or.
No, yeah, correct. And we validate data as well.
Yeah, that has.
Correct. So, okay. So I guess. So, but do you wonder like how the communication between these things will take place? So what usually you guys do in front end, like you do export and then do import, right?
Yes.
That thing will be there, but there is one more additional thing called middlewares. Okay. So usually what do you guys think when I say of middlewares? That will be like Redux, RxJS, right? Yeah. So here middleware is something that intercepts the request object. Okay.
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 Like what?
Intercept.
So what it does, so we are getting a request object, right? So if I define a middleware before this get over here, okay, so what it will do, that middleware will intercept each and every request, and then
If that's true, then it will allow.
no, so that inside that middleware callback function, you can do like if you want to modify a request object, you can do that. You can, if you want to have a prior validation check from database, you can do that over there. So in next session, I'll be covering that. And there is one more interesting part about middleware. It is not like now it has intercepted. So see, so basically we are intercepting middleware here. Okay, let's say that middleware function is this function. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now we have intercepted the request object and response object. Okay. We did our thing. Okay. Validation and all. Validation, authentication. Okay. So interestingly, now this function execution is completed, and so interestingly, Node.js don't know like from here what to do next. Okay. So how we can jump to next statement. Okay. So that also we will see in next session. So in Node, unfortunately, we have to inform middleware that the work is done. Now jump to next middleware or jump to next main module. Okay. So all those things we will explore in next module session. Okay. So for today, I guess you can explore this link which I have shared.
Yes.
Okay.
Node.js learn.
Yeah. So basically, this architecture is not standard. It is up to us how we can effectively design our architecture. So it might happen that in some project you will be getting only these two things. It might happen that there will be some one more module. Yeah, correct. So it entirely depends project wise. But usually we follow like in our organization, we follow this architecture, router, controller, service, and models.
Okay.
And all the big projects which follow, proper architecture, they follow this. Okay. So we'll deep dive later more. Okay. What are middlewares? How they intercept the request, and like what are their benefits? Okay.
Yes.
So I will request you to go through this link.
Yes.
Okay, starting from getting started, brief history. So this will give you a very good overview.
Yes.
Okay. Error handling and also try catch. I guess you must be
Yes. Yes.
aware. Okay. So understanding event loops. So now if you go through this, then and if you try to compare this with our document, last session, you will find it easier to understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Very easy.
Yeah. So like whenever you have time, just keep completing this. Okay. So this will give you a very high level understanding of Node.js.
Yes.
Okay. If you want to search for docs, you can always search on Node, or here also they have given the docs. Okay.
Okay.
Okay then. So today I want you guys to go through this link, and apart from that, yeah, the open question regarding HTTP module and Express.js.
Yes.
So why it is a good habit to separate server from listening the port. Or why it is a good habit to separate server from express route. Okay, so I'll close the
Yes.
call.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.